Hey, Eric.
Hey, John.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Ooh, another fabulous. All right. Good for you.
I'm sticking with fabulous. It worked last week.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Or more than awesome. I don't know. I don't know where awesome and fabulous sit on the spectrum. But good to know. Good to know. Well, welcome to 2023 in a solid way. I guess this is not our first, but hope hope
Yeah.
you're hope January's treating you well.
Episode 266. Nothing interesting about that number whatsoever.
What's interesting about that number?
You can't think of anything. There's nothing interesting about that number whatsoever.
Okay.
I'm sure someone will find something.
No, it's all good. So, good week.
It was, as previously noted, a fabulous week.
Fabulous.
I got my... I think we talked about it last year at some point. The whole Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter, where he got, broke all the Kickstarter records for most funded project. That was early 22, I think, so mid 22 somewhere.
Something like that.
Well, 2023 is the year of Sanderson, and it has begun. So January 1st, the first book came out.
I got the email.
And I read and listened to it, as I am wont to do.
Okay.
However, it is not available, nor is it compatible with Audible.
Okay.
And apparently intentionally so. Brandon Sanderson had a post about
Fight
Audible's
the monopoly.
the only game in town, and they stick it to, independent authors. So he's going to see if he can generate competition. So you can get the audiobook on Spotify and another service called Speechify. Anyways, the first book is Tress of the Emerald Sea, and it is a fun read/listen.
Okay.
I
have not read it yet.
Can I tell you the backstory? I won't ruin the book, but I'll give you a little hint of basically the backstory. So, there's 4 books that are previously unannounced that are going to come out each quarter in 2023 from Brandon Sanderson. And This is the first one, and this is the one that he originally wrote just for his wife. He had no intention of, sharing it, but the backstory is when COVID started, he and his wife and his family got together and they watched The Princess Bride.
Okay, I'm already going to like this story.
And his wife turned to him and said something along the... I don't remember the exact quote. It's actually in the foreword to the book, but something along the lines of, wouldn't this be a much more interesting story if the princess, instead of just assuming Wesley was dead, went to try to find him? And the kernel of a story thus begins. And so that's the very high-level plot. But the fun part is, if you're a Brandon Sanderson fan, Hoyd in the Cosmere is in multiple books. He kind of appears all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, the book is also told as from the perspective of Hoyd, the narrator.
Okay.
And it is hilarious.
I love it.
I very much enjoyed this book. I don't know when it will be available if you didn't jump into the year of Sanderson.
He's
I think
a
it's
world singer.
A month or something. Yeah. So anyways, this is almost turning into something fun right up front. But yeah. And then I got my year of Sanderson first box that showed up. I won't ruin it with what's on the inside, but it's all Hoyd stuff and it's a lot of fun.
I did not get mine, so I'm hoping that it's just that it's
Did you get your email with the tracking number? So
email?
I got an email a couple days ago with the tracking number. So I imagine whenever yours ships, it will come with a tracking number. So Anyways, that was fun. That was
Interesting.
throw that into something fun. What a fun story. And then I had mentioned before I got my Starry Night Lego. My wife got me Van Gogh's Starry Night in Lego. Earlier, not too long ago, this morning or this afternoon, I finished it. So it is now a completed project, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
You showed me you sent me a picture, and yes, that looks really cool.
So fun stuff.
I don't think I noticed in the box picture that you had sent me before that there's an artist kind of poking out, painting the picture. I had not seen that, or I had not.
There is a mini
that.
Van Gogh painting Starry Night, and then you got the Starry Night in the background. The first thing my wife asked when I started putting it together, she asked, "Does the Lego Van Gogh have an ear?" And I'm like, well, Legos don't really have ears at all, so yeah, he's missing an ear, but he's also missing the other one. So
it would be pretty funny if they had like just a printed ear on one
on one side
and not on the other.
I'm tempted to Sharpie one in.
That's pretty awesome.
That was my fun. I had a fun week. I had a nice, as I said before, a fabulous week.
That's awesome. And I didn't see, we didn't like run into you there, but you went to Harry Potter on Saturday night.
Yes, we did. We also did that. Like I said, fabulous week.
It was a good week. Yeah. So that is the annual Harry Potter movie played by the Oregon Symphony down on the stage with a big screen above it. It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Although, I watch the movie and like enjoy the music, and my wife, I think, just totally watches the musicians and semi pays attention to the movie. It's a little bit opposites, but yeah, it was a good. I'd forgotten how how dark this one was. This is the Half-Blood Prince.
That was what I had commented to my wife. It was almost as if the film were in black and white. That's how dark it was.
Yeah. But anyway, it was still an enjoyable experience. An enjoyable experience, and so we have been trying to remember. I think we even saw the first one. I'd have to double check with my wife, but I'm like, we've been doing this for a lot of years, and the last one, assuming that we keep up on it. The last one will be the year that my youngest son graduates from high school. In like 2 more years. So it'll, for us at least, it'll kind of like bookend maybe the kids being in the house, and then bye and no more Harry Potter movies at the symphony. I don't know. That was one of the topics on the drive into Portland when we were doing that. But anyway, it's all good.
Nice.
It's all good. It was fun. So I was trying to think if I did anything else fun this week. I don't think I did.
How are your bees?
Oh, you probably shouldn't have asked me that question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I walked out by them today. I think I said a couple of weeks ago that I had given them sugar just in case, and I took out the one that had the lid blow off. So I walked by today because it was 54 degrees, and 3 of them have clear signs of activity in front of the hive, but the other 4 do not. It doesn't mean that they're dead, but lower probability.
Not a good omen.
Yeah, I mean it would be nice if there was clear activity. So
yeah,
they still got to make it a couple more months, but they've all got sugar up above. If they if there's anything still in there, they can get up there and eat it. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed when I walked by today. I mean,
sorry, dude.
What can you do? Not much.
Yeah.
But Well, who knows? If I have 3 survive through the winter, that will still be 3 times what last year's survival rate was. So,
A 300% improvement.
exactly. You got to look on the bright side of life. Always.
There you
go. Anyway. Oh, hey, that's the other thing we did watch Black Adam the other night.
What'd you think?
Yeah, semi okay.
Yeah, similar from the Wheeler household.
Yeah, it was not unenjoyed, but I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it was okay, but just don't have any sort of association with other characters. It is just the way it is. So, Anyway. Okay. Well, hey, how about topics? What'd you bring me tonight?
So I have a couple. The first one is kind of ties into you'll get the tie. So Slack.
Okay.
IM messaging
saw this one.
platform suffered a security incident over the holidays. Apparently, some of their GitHub source code was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I guess I may have been aware of, but I forgot, or maybe I didn't know this, is I didn't know that Slack was owned by Salesforce. So apparently it's Salesforce owned, 18 million users for their communities, and they had a security incident.
Okay.
And what's the thing that may remind you of something else we've recently talked about? When they went to try to find the blog post doesn't appear about the thing. Slack talks about taking your security, privacy, and transparency very seriously. Yeah. But apparently they put the no index on their blog post so that it wouldn't get tagged by search engines, to make it harder to discover the page. The no index tag, a bunch of other things were added to that, some robot.txt techniques, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is very similar or very reminiscent of a more recent one that you brought up a few weeks ago.
I brought up like multiple times.
Where they did that exact same thing. So, okay. You got breached, and then you tried to... I wonder if that's like the web equivalent of making the announcement on a Friday afternoon, a bad political announcement on a Friday afternoon,
It just like, how does that actually help though? I mean, it's not like it won't.
It's not like no one will find it.
It's not like it won't be found.
And the people who read that stuff and are interested in that stuff are going to find it. It's not, I don't. Does it hide it from so that it doesn't show up on the front page of, the local news? Does the local news really want to run a front page on, Slack? Probably not. Or a data breach? Probably not. It's probably still a...
I mean, but I don't know. From me at least, it makes it so if somebody does search about it, you're not in control of the message. The search results are going to be somebody else's spin on it, not like your voice, your...
that's a good point.
Your take. And now your take should be open, honest, transparent, for trust and for future things. But like, why wouldn't you want like what you say to be the number one search hit? I don't exactly. I don't get it.
Yeah.
There's lots of things I don't understand though, so this wouldn't be the first.
You and I are not marketing people.
Clearly.
Or political people.
Clearly.
All right, so that was the first one. Just Slack had a breach, and the story about the breach is not the breach itself, but the fact they tried to hide it.
Hiding.
And then the second one is, it's kind of a I don't know if this is so an article from a blog called Eclectic Light Company.
Oh, I read this. I read this one too. Okay.
Yeah. This Eclectic Light Company was on how do you know when your Mac detects and remediates malware? Because Apple has famously said, in the past that we don't have malware, we're fine. But they do stuff. They have XProtect, they have YARA rules, they keep track of things. And so this blog post is about how do you know if your stuff, like if you're running a security software on Windows, Defender, or, any of the various...
Both first and third party.
Yeah, first party or third party products, you'll get a toast or a pop-up or something will say, hey, virus detected, we're going to clean it, or it'll block something, or it'll do something. And two complaints, I guess, comments in the article are, number one, Apple, if something happens, they give you a completely useless dialog box that doesn't help you at all. And the comment is, as soon as the user gets the dialog box and clicks OK, it goes away. They'll never remember the name because they're using like the word Mac OS and some random characters.
Okay. Yeah.
But on the other side of that as well is when it remediates or it finds something and remediates. That's only so the dialog box only shows up if you're doing something specific and turning it on. Otherwise. Actively looking for it. Nothing happens. You don't know. It just kind of silently behind the scenes
deletes the file.
Does whatever it does, and you don't know. Did it delete the file? Did it stop the thing from happening? What actually happened? And so some of the comments are basically there's, Apple is in a place to actually help the users understand what happened. The common user. They're very good at, in general, they're very good at user experience with their products. And so one of the comments is why your different and obscure naming systems, they don't even do what the rest of the industry does. They kind of make it up on their own. And so if a user does end up with some kind of detection alert, it is less than helpful. And then the log files for what XProtect, their internal security mechanism, writes to a log file that's inaccessible. The average user can't ever see it. And even if you have a product from a third party installed using Apple's endpoint security framework, which they provide so that third party systems can get access and do that, those tools have to be running all the time. It writes events to a log. It's still overly complicated. And, as a result, most users are oblivious to the fact that their Mac actually detected and remediated or did anything. It's all done kind of in complete secrecy, so you have no idea. Which, on the one hand, good for Apple from a public perception perspective, right? I'm not getting pop-ups, but it's doing stuff behind the scenes. On the flip side, it kind of is like the Slack article. We're hiding it from the user. Hopefully nobody notices. And at some point, people are going to notice. Something's going to happen. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out if this does get more play. I'm not betting on it. So, but there you go. Those are my two articles that I found interesting this week.
Do you know if XProtect, if it convicts something, just removes the file or removes the containing application?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just the file or the full application.
Yeah.
Right? Because most people will have only software that comes through the App Store or that's notarized or that they get from Apple on their system. I don't think most Mac users download random stuff from the internet and install it. Relative to Windows users, I guess.
It wouldn't surprise me that there's lots that download and install things, but I would expect most of it to be notarized at this point. I guess is the way I would phrase that. Because there's a lot of stuff that just isn't available in the App Store. But
does the average Mac user? Yeah, I guess that's my assertion. There is the percentage of Mac users that will do that is a much smaller percentage than the number of Windows users that will get, because they're really, is there a Windows store? But it's not really enforced. Most software
there is. Windows 10 and
outside.
11 at least have a pretty integrated app store. I guess I was just wondering, because the thing that seems like it would be most impactful when things are removed, asynchronously, is when you go to run something and then it fails for some reason because a critical file is missing. Very different from, oh wait, what happened to this application? I thought
Where'd
I had
that
it
app
installed.
go? Yeah. I do not know.
Whereas since there's a most of the time, at least, there's a clean separation from where data is versus where application is, I could see Apple making the choice. I don't know what they do to, hey, if we find an application file infected, we'll just remove the application.
Right.
And then rely on the rest of the infrastructure to, if the user was like, hey, what happened to that? And they'll go find another one or another version and install it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting though. Yeah. If a Mac detects malware, does anybody know or care?
Yeah, that's the tree falls in the wood.
Yeah, right?
Or whatever. All right. What did you bring?
All right. Well, my article for tonight. So this is a Wired story that is an app that is used to help law enforcement agencies coordinate multi-agency activity. Let's see. So
no way this can go wrong.
Yeah. So, for example, the example they open with is, last September, law enforcement agents from 5 counties in Southern California coordinated an operation to investigate, raid, and arrest more than 600 suspected sex offenders. The mission, Operation Protect the Innocent, was one of the largest such raids in years, involving over 64 agencies. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, it was coordinated using a free trial of an app called SweepWizard.
So the thing that gets me there is a free trial,
right,
of an app.
Right.
So they took some random app off. I don't know. That's crazy. Anyways,
right? Only in 2022, but maybe also in 2023.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I don't know. So there is not details in here about how or why they have been SweepWizard was leaking confidential details about that operation and many others. I'm assuming an open bucket of some sort, but it does not actually say in this article. But it does say that the data that the LAPD and other partners uploaded to SweepWizard included private information about the suspects, as well as sensitive details that would tip off suspects when they were going to be raided, and it says, and cast suspicion on people who had not yet been convicted of a crime. It also said somewhere in there that the data implicated, several, for more than 1,000 of these suspects, SweepWizard also exposed their social security numbers, and several of the suspects were juveniles at the time of the sweeps that also had data. And they also released info about the officers and participants in the raid, as well as meeting locations, times, that kind of thing. So, this seems like amateur.
No, I betcha they take security very seriously.
I'm supposed to respond to that without laughing something off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, I'm sure we do. Yes, we take great pride in protecting your data. Okay, sorry, you totally threw me off topic here. So they, like I said, there is not detail in here about why, but when it was told to the company, they took the apps down from the app stores and are supposedly investigating. There was a quote that said that, oh no, it does. Odin Intelligence takes security very seriously. Oh my gosh.
I did. You knew it was going to, what else are they going to say?
Of course.
It's like I've seen this before.
Groundhog Day. Okay. So, yes, this is fantastic. I don't even know what to say. It's currently down. Supposedly they're investigating it. The websites aren't available, so it'll be back under another name with maybe a little bit more care and safety of the data in a little bit. The thought I had, though, is so clearly not a professionally secured app, but also, how weird is it that apps for things like police departments and fire departments and other things for their own internal collaboration are available on the open app store?
How else are they going to get them?
Well, exactly. Imagine if, there was this concept of other app stores. And so, this is one of those situations where, I could totally see, there being a way for, officers of particular jurisdictions or people with, a particular access, getting access to the ability to install a specialized app store that is where they shared their,
right.
apps. And, obviously if you're in an enterprise, they have for years been able to, deploy apps to enterprise owned devices. But, there certainly are situations, and a well-run type of this, which this is clearly not, I could absolutely see a situation where, having a third-party app store for kind of purpose-built items would make sense. So, there you go. There's that. All right, Eric. How about something fun?
Okay, my something fun is not a long one. It's more of just a fun fact. This came across somewhere this last week I saw. But we've talked about the James Webb Telescope before, and there, of course, have been assumptions based on Hubble and other scientists. And one of the things they're discovering through the use of the James Webb Telescope is that the first galaxies in the universe, based on what astronomers expected, there are way too many and they're way too bright. So basically what that means is that the evidence is building that the first galaxies formed earlier than expected.
Really?
So, the galaxies in the sky, the assumption was that if you look back towards the younger universe, because you're seeing light from so far away that it's basically travels back in time, right? The rotating disks that form, galaxies and the various types were more chaotic shapes based on what you got from the Hubble Space Telescope.
Okay.
With James Webb, they actually look like more mature galaxies in the right, shapes and sizes earlier than they thought. So it's just a fun fact, I guess, that the assumptions that galaxies were formed at a certain point in time is now they actually formed earlier than that. And the James Webb Telescope is helping prove that out because it just has a much longer wavelengths that it can detect. And so it's kind of a fun additional discovery from James Webb. So, fun fact.
The more you know, the less you know that you knew. Those are some cool pictures of I'm looking at the, what does it say? A montage of JWST images showing barred galaxies dating back to between 8.4 billion and 11 billion years ago. Oh, although not part of the current study, these barred galaxies are demonstrations of the mature galaxy shapes already present at early times.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. That's cool.
Yep.
Good job, James Webb. Science. Thank you, science. Thank you, science.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, I have something fun.
Okay.
I can't not have my something fun be the approval of the world's first vaccine for honeybees. So
yes.
you texted me this. I had other friends text me this. And yes, my wife sent it to me. Thank you, everybody, for sending me this because of course, this is right up my alley. The two facts about this that I thought were cool. So one is this is a vaccine for American foul brood, which is a nasty bacterial infection. I think it's bacterial that causes the pupa to basically like melt in their cells and kind of turn into kind of a goopy mess that then spreads between hives and if you have if one of your hives gets infected with American foul brood, like the state apiarist will come out and make sure, like, watch you burn all your equipment. It's not good.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the spores can, or the I guess spores can kind of I guess that would be fungal. I don't know. Supposedly it can stay, for a significant period of time in old equipment. So it's one of the main reasons why you're not suggested to buy used bee equipment either, because you don't really know how or why. Most of the time bee equipment is gone because all the bees died. And did the bees die because they weren't being taken care of, or did they die because of a disease of some sort? These days it's more mites than diseases, but there are still diseases. And like my first year or two, I had listened to a lot of talks about how to identify different pathogens and, chalk brood and foul brood and stuff like that. But the other cool thing is how they deliver it. So how they're delivering the vaccine is they introduce the inactive bacteria, so yes, evidently it is bacteria, into the royal jelly that's going to be fed to the queen larva. So like, remember I tried grafting last year, and I'm going to hopefully try again this year. That's kind of how they did it. So, when you graft for queen production, you inoculate the royal jelly that's in the cells for the larva, and then the larvae eat the inoculated royal jelly, presumably have immunity, and then we'll breed
Okay.
breed that immunity. Which also means that, an interesting follow-up I assume that they're working on is, so then how does that propagate to the, future offspring? Which is cool. So anyway, that's exciting. That's the first one. It
Well, I like
says,
the fun fact. It's the world's first vaccine for honeybees.
Right?
Cool.
Go science. Go science.
Yay for science.
All right, ready for third science? Now, if science could solve this for me, I think we'd be golden.
I have not read this one. I'm just looking at the title. I don't know what this one is.
This is the first CRISPR gene-edited meat is coming. So there's evidently, according to the Good Food Institute, 152 cultivated meat companies as of the end of 2022, operating in 29 countries. This is a problem that some people care about, and others are like, you guys are insane. Just be a vegetarian. But the problem is, so all these, and you even had something fun about like fungal meat the other a couple weeks ago or months ago or something like that. Mushrooms, yeah. But in these things, they grow. Basically, can you grow muscle cells in a large bioreactor and create, I'm using air quotes, meat that is good to eat, but also commercially viable from a cost perspective, and maybe doesn't quite destroy our environment the way cattle do. From the way we treat and grow, and let alone how they're treated humanely or inhumanely and that kind of thing. So lots of reasons why it would be awesome that something like this works out. This is the world needs to figure out how to feed the next 2 or 3 billion people. Anyway.
What? So it's not CRISPR cows. It's meat grown in a petri dish?
Yes, meat in a petri dish. But the thing is that you developing cell lines that are happy to grow in a bioreactor is the tricky bit. So they're CRISPR editing just the cell lines and essentially breeding them to improve yield in bioreactors. So this isn't about putting CRISPR things into cows or anything else. Okay. This is like pure lab work. And it says in 2022 the average price of ground beef was $4.81 a pound. I love the fact that I have no idea what meat costs. Anyway, sorry, that's a bit of an aside. And they said they have an eventual target of $1 per burger at commercial scale. Okay, I don't know what a burger costs. A quarter-pound burger costs at McDonald's, but I'm guessing it's nowhere close to $1.
Right.
But anyway.
So this is, instead of like the Impossible Meat and Beyond Meat,
fake meat.
Fake meat. This is real fake meat.
This is real.
I don't know.
Real cells, but yes, this is real cells. Yes.
I don't know. This is like a barbecue using gas instead of actual charcoal.
What was it that we did a couple years ago? Fake fire. This is fake fire.
Yes, fake fire.
Fake fire versus real fire.
Fake meat. Real meat as opposed to fake meat.
You enjoy your charcoal ceremony, and I will go click the button. and cook myself some food. But yeah, anyway, so that's also, I thought, something a little fun, Good Luck March is the guy's name. Good Luck March, and sci-fi foods, I think it was.
Yeah. Sci-fi foods. I think I read at the beginning they changed their name from something else to sci-fi foods. Yeah. Artemy
Yes.
Foods. Sci-fi foods, formerly Artemy Foods. All right.
Anyway.
Well, okay.
There you go.
Fun stuff.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, fun science facts today.
There you go. Go science. Vaccines, meat, galaxies.
Nice.
There you go.
There's a trio. Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
Bye.